Testing. One, two, three. Hello. This episode is about freedom. Just what is freedom? Freedom is something that is given to us. We have to have freedom in order to be human beings. In today's society, we have these things called Democrats, liberals, communists. They even want to call themselves socialists that say that we don't need our freedom and take our freedom away. I'm here to tell you that I'm going to stand up for freedom. I have people that want to take me off the air, get rid of me, and everything that I have because of freedom. I fought for freedom, and I'm still fighting. Freedom is a right to choose. It's a God-given right, by the way, to choose. Because there's only one way to have choice and freedom. It's through God. To choose. To choose what you want. To choose to believe in Him or not to believe. No Christian, no Jew will tell you that you have to choose, that you have to serve Him. None. None at all. There are other occult groups out there, and many of them are organizations that say you have to serve their phony gods, and you have no freedom. I'm not going to get into those occult groups today because our episode is on freedom and what freedom is all about. In order to have your freedom, like I said, you have to have one key principle, and that's the principle of the right to choose. Freedom itself is a principle. So is liberty a principle. Those are three. And they're the basic keys. To me, they're the basic keys to being a good libertarian. Libertarianism is based on freedom of choice. I have many friends that are libertarians, and I'm proud to say to know them, to understand them. They don't always agree with me, and I don't always agree with them. But it's still freedom of choice. The evidence has got to be clear before I believe in whatever you want to say or don't want to say. Right now we saw the State of Union address by President Trump. We saw that there were ladies in the audience dressed like KKK leaders. The Ku Klux Klan. The lady in the background, Nancy Pelosi, dressed in white, just like a Klansman. Who hates freedom? Liberty. She hates the fact that you have the right to choose. She wants to choose for you. I know there's a bickering over the wall. I don't, right now, have nothing I'm going to say about that. That's not the point of this program. This program is to tell you that, yes, you do have the right to choose. And, yes, there are people in this audience that'll listen to this, hear this, like Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, who once said that we have the right and freedom to say what we wish to say. And now he recants it and says we can't. We got to say it and agree to what he says. I'm also one that believes in freedom in another respect, too. I respect those who say we don't need the freedom. We don't need freedom to choose our, well, let's say our way to live or how to eat. There are those who say that we have to have things called entitlements, such as food stamps or housing allowance or work for the government. I'm actually in favor of another shutdown for this reason. and this reason only, to regain our freedom. That's it, to regain our freedom. The right to choose, to have a smaller government. This is supposed to be a republic, not a democracy. Those who say it's a democracy, well, you don't want freedom. You hate freedom. And you hate what I have to say. Pure hate. If you notice, I'm always saying in my Facebook page, I defend God, Jews, and Christians. I got a reason for that. Number one, God gave us freedom, the right to choose. It's called an unalienable right, a right to happiness. That's an unalienable right. The right to speak our minds, that's an unalienable right. We have no one that tells us that we have to be politically correct. God does not say that, nor will He. To choose our freedom is a choice. There are many countries around the world. There are only two countries that really have freedom, the United States and Israel. The right to choose. A right, a God-given right. Yes, I am a man of God. I will not deny that. I will confess that out in public. I'm not afraid of it. Freedom does not give you fear. If you notice that the Democrats, who I like to also call Ku Klux Klan people now, because they wear white without those pointed hats, say, well, we have to take the right to defend yourself away, like gun control. We got many Republicans that go along with this idiotic thing called gun control. They ran away from their freedom. They hide. A free person will not hide. A free person will take a stand and stand up for their rights and freedom. A free person will fight the Civil War and fight the good fight. A free person will do what they have to do in order to maintain a decent lifestyle. There's no depending on government control in order to have those freedoms. Government controls and restricts entrepreneurs. Restriction on the economy. A restriction on how you want to live and choose to live. We have many people, like here in the state of Wisconsin, Governor Tony Evers, who's really a dictator. We got to live with this dictator for a while and understand that he wants to suppress us and put us into his control. They call it uniting, being unified. Freedom is not being unified. It's not uniting. Yes, we live in the United States of America, and the word united is there. That's because we're 50 states right now. Maybe 51, maybe 52. Who knows and who cares? I don't care. And here's why. It's a choice. I'm not going to choose those sides, but I am going to choose one side. I'm going to choose this day to serve freedom and to serve my God who gave me that freedom. The right to choose. The right to speak. I may not say the right words. I may not be politically correct. And I'm not going to be politically correct or choose the right words. So, Mr. Zuckerberg, I hope you're listening to this. Don't ask me to like you. Don't ask me to follow you or to be friends. But here's one thing I will do. I'll honor you as a human being. And treat you as a human being. And treat you the way you should be treated. That's not slavery. That's not rebellious. That's honoring God. That's honoring a commandment that came from God. You're the enemy, Mr. Zuckerberg. You're the enemy to freedom. Freedom of speech. The liberty and right to say what we wish to say. And yet you hate. All Democrats are haters. It's been proven over and over again. I see fellow Republicans, and yes, I'm not a Republican, by the way, and I guarantee I'm not a Democrat. I happen to be a libertarian that believes in three principles: freedom, liberty, the right to choose. The right to choose is a choice of freedom. The right to liberty is a choice of freedom. A right to choose is freedom itself. There is no bondage in any words that I spoke of. The Democrats, Republicans want to control. Yes, Republicans really come out and say they are in favor of freedom and liberty, but in all reality, I haven't seen that in 50 some odd years. And I'm getting close to, I'm someplace around 60 some odd years. So that tells you within those 50 years of my lifetime, I haven't seen a Republican stand up for freedom. I've seen them be cowards and hide and say, well, we'll have to give in to the Democrats so that we could have restrictions. Restrictions on how to build a home. Restrictions how to build an industry. Hey, I'll tell you the truth. Freedom is also a good thing to learn here under failure. In order to be rich, you have to fail. You have to know how to fail in order to be rich. I don't get government handouts or entitlements. I don't need those things. Yes, I am entitled to certain things because I served our country as a United States Marine. I served our country in several different ways, too. And yet I get ridiculed, slapped in the face because I like to have my freedom, the right to choose. I like to have my liberty to choose. And yet you got Democrats, you got Republicans, Green Party, Constitutional Party, and a few other political parties that say you don't deserve your freedom. Especially the Democrats. They really hate to give help. They really hate freedom. I see it all the time. I see it on the ABC News, especially with Michael Strahan, George Stephanopoulos, Robin Roberts, and everybody on Good Morning America. You see it with Bette Midler, and you see it with Goldie Hawn. Yeah, Goldie Hawn hates freedom. You see it with, I can't think of her name right now. It irritates me. Matter of fact, here's another person that hates freedom too, and her name happens to be Rosie O'Donnell. Also, you have people like Cher. You have people like Nancy Pelosi hates freedom. Chuck Schumer hates freedom. So many other people hate freedom. You can see it all over the place, especially when you watch The View, a feminist show. Every feminist hates freedom. I guarantee it. I do not stand and will not be silent to these people that hate freedom and liberty. There's no reason to do that. Freedom and liberty is a choice. The right to choose. You don't have to believe in God to be a libertarian, and you don't have to be you can believe in God and still be a libertarian. That's what I like about that political party. It's called freedom and liberty and the right to choose. I have no one dictating